So the division day basically just happened, and I have to say, you have got to respect the hustle. You see, for the most part, this game, the division, has been written off many times by everyone, detractors, and so on and so forth. But I think what many people don't necessarily understand is I think whomever stopped the dying or the killing of this game, which they had already said we're not going to continue with this game, but then they came around to say no, we're going to continue with the game, is in my opinion someone that saw a very lean angle for an opportunity and was able to influence the higher ups to take it. The Division Day unveiled that Ubisoft Massive is going to be continuing hard on bringing more content. Now, they already had talked about this before. They had teased it. They had made some changes within the game. This is not something that should have really surprised us, but you know how it is. Every time they say something, usually we don't necessarily get it at the, scheduled time. So it's kind of hard to, believe anything in this Division ecosystem until you finally see it. Not because they're being malicious or whatever it is. They're just developers that have to deal with obstacles all the time. I am a wannabe, a hobbyist developer, so I can't even fault, anybody anymore for having a game have some bugs or issues or delays because, when you're working with bigger teams, these are some of the logistics that you have to deal with. So shout out to them. At the moment that they're announcing this stuff for early June, it sounds to me that they're committed and they're going in on this angle. A few things, however, that I thought were quite interesting overall were the fact that they actually showed some trailers that, we've probably seen before for the Division Heartland. They talked about the Division Resurgence, and they also talked about the Division 2's Year 5. If you don't know about what all is going on, I recommend that you actually make your way to the Division YouTube channel so that you can kind of watch and get a very good sense of what's going on. Over the course of the next few days, my plan is to start breaking down all of those things, but I want to talk about the things I'm excited for within all of this. Now, Heartland is one where I'm kind of neutral. I don't know. I'm not sitting here yelling, oh, yay, the Division Heartland. Oh, my gosh, wonderful. No, that's not my position because I really like the Division 2 and the Division 1 structure. So I'd have to know how much of a similarity in structure Heartland is going to be, or at least what its unique proposition would be for me to get excited about it. So I want to kind of wait and see more. But in regard to the division where we already have an established set of content pieces and, the pattern of the game in its own future and past and so on and so forth, incursions sound to me like a very solid proposition. In fact, I am looking forward to these incursions as time goes on, because to me, I think this is one huge piece that the developers did not necessarily, in my opinion anyway, pursue as much as possible because, a lot of us here in our community, we're into the PvE side of things. We like PvE. We enjoy the content. Hey, for those of you who kept telling me that PvP continues to, be the one thing that keeps the division alive, I just want to say I hope you're seeing that we're here and going into year 5 and we're seeing PvE content as kind of like, the big deal. Now, I get it. Heartland seems like it may have a PvP slant in a sense, but that's probably what they're trying to do. They're trying to emphasize that they will provide a different platform that would serve a lot of the PvP side. This way, they can specifically kind of gear their monetization to it. It's where the money is, they're going to go. I don't know. I hope you're seeing the pattern because many of you cussed me out last year, 2 years ago. Some of you may be new on my channel. I'm that guy that everyone in the community kind of like, we fight about the division, and I like doing it. It's just a friendly spar for the most part, and this is how things go. So this is where I am leaning towards. This is kind of like the content set of pieces that I've been wanting to see for a while. So Season 1 has that Descent mode that's like a roguelike, really cool, Castle Rebuild, apparel event. Season 2, having the Incursion is where my ears perked up. I've been an Incursion fan in this franchise for a long time, from when we started playing Falcon Lost from the Division 1, and we got, Stolen Signal, then we got the other one from the Cleaners. I can't remember the name right off the bat, and then we got the other one with the Rikers. Still can't remember their names, but I remember Falcon Lost, and I remember Stolen Signal being very impressionable on me, because these were really the bread and butter incursions that kind of started out kind of the framework that we have for what we call raids today in the Division 2. So seeing these make their way back, or being planned anyways to make their way back, is actually quite, in my opinion, satisfying. I really like the fact that the developers are taking this initiative to go this direction. I'm sure it's been difficult for them having to split their teams into multiple projects, with the Star Wars project getting its, developers being gathered, probably some from within, and even some getting hired externally or being moved around. And then you also have the Avatar team, which is a team made up of a lot of Division developers. And so being able to come together and bring this content piece together is actually pretty cool. And I'm looking forward to these little things that are going to be brought into the game. I had already put the game down for a while. Most of you may or may not know, I finally achieved shade level 1000 on one of my many accounts. That's how I like to play the game, by the way. I like to just, do something silly. But then I stopped and I was like, what's the next thing? Expertise? No, I don't feel like doing that, because I like to kind of like align all my farming together, if you get what I mean. So I want to be able to just be playing the game and achieving multiple parameters all at the same time. So I intend to actually start getting my, agent a little more stronger by maybe beefing up my expertise now in a much more systematic way, but then hopefully be able to grind way more as the next year's content pieces and the seasons are coming in, which just provides an overlap. That's how I've always seen the Division, because if you're the first to do everything, you will run out of content to do. So I've always been okay being the last guy to get there. Never really has bothered me. Once you get a good knowledge of the game, your stats and your gear kind of become secondary, because your knowledge is actually much more diverse in different areas. That's a whole different conversation anyways. I mean, I'm here playing with my shade level. This is my second PC account, by the way, you're seeing, with shade level 246, and I can hold my own in basically any content piece. Sure, I'm not dealing the most optimal damage, but because of the knowledge base that's been established across the community, it's easy for you to make your way through if you know exactly what it is you're doing. But by and large, this is really exciting for the Division community as a whole. I'm sure there are people across the board who may have mixed feelings about this, and I can understand. We got to see what this is about first before we start drawing too many conclusions. But I have to say that where we are now, I did not necessarily envision it, because it was so difficult with issues and obstacles happening. It was very difficult to see it all in perspective for the Division 2. As for Heartland, that's a whole different conversation, folks. Like I said, when we see it, we'll know exactly what it is, and then we can know if we're going to be excited or not. But when you've been in this community long enough, man, you know how to manage your expectations. No one's got to tell you about that anymore. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Those of you in the GamerDad community from the early days that have been just on the in the shadows looking at what's been going on, you've probably put the game down. I want to hear what your plan is in terms of your plan of action. Is this enough to bring you back? Is this enough to start getting those juices flowing again? Are you blowing the dust off your some of your OG builds? Are you trying to hit up some control points? Let me know in the comment section what all is going on, and I'll be very happy to engage as we continue to talk about this pending the release of Year 5 and other content in the future. I appreciate you all so much. Thanks so much for watching the video. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.